Honourable Deputy Speaker, the Parliamentary Budget Office bill has been long overdue, long outstanding. And actually, it's a great victory for the people in the Aragalaya who spoke about wanting new systems and new tools that would ensure more transparency and accountability. So we are happy that the government has brought this. We thank His Excellency the President for pushing it forward. The role of the legislature is, the problem is, Honourable Minister, you spoke about accountability and all, but there is a big difference between the laws you all bring and the way you all act. That's our main problem. The opposition, you said, does some baseless allegations. Our allegations are not baseless. We are giving you proof. The problem is you don't give sufficient answers. The role of this legislature is changing, with parliaments playing a more active role in budget matters, especially in developing countries. For promoting good governance and fiscal transparency, the legislature's active engagement in the budget process becomes essential. I would like to recommend that in addition to the Parliamentary Budget Office providing budget analysis, independent advice to parliamentarians, policy costing to party leaders and MPs, and that they also focus on the following. As you said, you all will add it up in the rules and regulations. It would be good for the Parliamentary Budget Office to assist MPs to prepare and indulge in a pre-budget discussion sufficiently early before the budget itself, so that they are engaged in the budget process. And secondly, our practice in Sri Lanka has been for the Ministry of Finance to submit a 3-year medium-term expenditure framework with the budget. I recommend that we propose a medium-term budgetary framework for 3 years to be submitted to the Parliamentary Budget Office with every budget, so that the MPs can look at the progress and the path ahead and how they can make necessary changes if it is necessary. The global scenario in all aspects, including government and politics, is changing. And if we as a country do not adopt modern tools and techniques, we will not be able to compete in our region with our neighbours. Governments are challenged to respond to urgent needs of citizens and to be more accountable to them. All over the world, public is putting up governments under heavy pressure and to show that they are providing good value for money and results. This is what we have to do as politicians. Governments and public sector need to modernize. There are new tools that are required to perform and achieve outcomes and goals and to get to results. Managing for development results is one such tool which has been used, which typically involves many phases, such as articulating and agreeing on objectives, selecting key performance indicators, setting targets, monitoring performances, and analyzing and reporting on results against targets. Countries like Malaysia have adopted performance-based budgeting years ago and have even moved to outcome-based budgeting. These are progressive steps that we need to take as a country. The concept of managing for development results has been adopted gradually in Sri Lanka since 1990s. But manufacturing for development results is a change management that emphasizes a shift in focus from inputs, activities and outputs to outcomes and impacts. It promotes the concept of accountability for results. Management for development results is an essential aspect of good governance to improve development, efficiency and effectiveness, transparency, accountability and informed decision making. Further, the government of Sri Lanka is a signatory to the Paris Declaration on Aid Effectiveness in March 2005 and is committed to institutionalize management for development results government-wide. But sadly, in 2007 or 2008, the plan implementation ministry altogether, under which management for development results program was owned. The monitoring and evaluation framework for Sri Lanka that was being developed at that time was put on the back burner until today. These tools which we needed, which should have prevented this country from going bankrupt. Globally, monitoring and evaluation has expanded as a key tool of government with many users, such as decision-making, organizational learning, knowledge base, program improvement, policy development, impact outcome assessment, accountability, and performance audit itself. It is a powerful tool used widely by governments across the world. I am the chair of the Global Parliamentary Forum for Evaluation. We, in 2018, got 78 parliaments to come to Sri Lanka. We held an international conference, Eval Colombo, and we decided on the Colombo Declaration for every parliament globally to adopt evaluation as a policy, the national evaluation policy for each parliament. And our parliamentary forum, we established a national evaluation policy here in Sri Lanka and in many parliaments. In Nepal, in Philippines, in Kyrgyzstan, the Global Parliamentary Forum was involved in promoting that evaluation policy. In 2018, we had a select committee for monitoring and evaluation under the leadership of Deputy Speaker Anand Kumarasiri, and we developed a draft national evaluation policy, which is now ready for presentation to the Parliament. Honourable Deputy Speaker, it is your duty also to push this. And I have urged the President to take this up at the Cabinet and to bring the bill to Parliament for approval. I have spoken to Honourable Shayan Semasinga. Honourable Minister, it will be a great honour when you bring it, the national evaluation policy, because it's a critical tool that we need to further account for transparency and accountability in this House. In 2018, we proposed to have a standing committee in Parliament for monitoring and evaluation. The purpose was for Parliament to engage with national development initiatives at its inception, during implementation, and after the completion of the initiative. Mid-end and post-evaluation provide opportunities to understand the progress of the initiatives and outcomes and lessons from the implementation of an initiative. Lessons learned from ongoing and post-initiatives provide valuable information to improve design of future interventions. Evaluations thus provide a means to engage at all times and all stages of a development intervention. It becomes a critical tool for us. In 2018, a few progressive MPs together who formed the Sri Lanka Parliamentary Forum for Evaluation proposed to set up a standing committee on monitoring and evaluation to bring the draft bill for national evaluation policy to Parliament. But today I believe we do not need a standing committee on evaluation. Instead, I propose to the Honourable Minister of Finance, the Acting Minister of Finance who's here, His Excellency the President, Honourable Shayan Semasinga, Honourable Ranjit Siambalapiri, and the Chair of the Committee of Public Finance, Dr. Harshadi Silva, to include a monitoring and evaluation unit within the Budget Office, what we are going to approve today, because then we will strengthen it. We will be able to make sure that we are achieving those targets we are talking about, what you mentioned, about transparency and about accountability. I can easily justify why this should be done. The monitoring and evaluation unit, why it should be there. A report that was submitted, a cabinet paper that was submitted by His Excellency the President in 2022. On the 18th of November, Honourable Minister, you would have seen this because you would have been in the Cabinet. In this Cabinet paper that is submitted, which was a report by the Department of Project Management, it was on the 18th of November 2022, where he shows that public projects that were initiated in this country since 2011, there have been 260 massive major public projects, out of which only 12% has been successful. 78% has been a failure. That is 30 projects successful, 230 projects a failure. These are mostly loan-funded projects, remember. And the public funds allocated for these projects was 5.8 trillion rupees. That means if you take 78% failure, that's over 4 trillion rupees of failed projects. Imagine the amount of money that would have been wasted. I will finish, Honourable Deputy Speaker. The Monitoring and Evaluation Unit in the Parliamentary Budget Office can review any ongoing public sector project or any new project proposals, and the Monitoring and Evaluation Unit could work with the Department of Project Management and Monitoring as partner or a secretariat and could commission project evaluations, mid-term evaluations and post-evaluations which could guide both Parliament and Cabinet on which public projects should be prioritised and which should be scrapped. So this is a very important thing. If we had had this process, I am sure the Southern Expressway from Mahatara to Mattala would have never been done, because that has no sense, doesn't make any economic sense, right? So this is how we wasted money. So in conclusion, I would suggest that we also focus on performance-based budgeting instead of line item budgeting. Performance-based budgeting is the allocation of funds based on programmatic results that contribute to organizational goals. Or in other words, for governments, performance-based budgeting uses evidence to maximize the allocation of funds towards programs that work and away from those that don't work. This should be the objective of the Parliamentary Budget Office. Thank you.
On the evaluation, draft what you were talking about, we have had informal discussions also. upon arrival of the President after he concludes his visit of France and UK, we will call for a meeting and we'll see how best we could accommodate that draft which has been done earlier. So we will have a discussion with the President when he returns back on that.
Garo Kabir
Thank you, Honorable